Hey tubers, welcome back. Now some of you may or may not notice that the channel has been rebranded. We're now called Tweedful Things, and what we want to do is review the tech that you would sell your soul for. Today we're going to look at this phone here, the Xperia XZ Premium, and all of its features. We'll go over 5 top things that we love about it. Let's get started. Okay then, so the first feature we're going to look at is the display. We've got a 5.5 inch 4K HDR tri-luminous display. It's reinforced with Gorilla Glass 5 and it's absolutely beautiful. Now what you will find, because it's a 4K display, is it's going to be an absolute beast on your battery. You've got a 3230 mAh battery, which is quite large in comparison to other handsets. It should be a pretty decent competitor. You've also got QNOVO capacitive charging as well, which means that it has an algorithm which figures out how much battery you use and tries to put it into the best places. But without a shadow of a doubt, that display is going to absolutely drain your battery life. So although you should be able to compete with other devices, what you might find is that you might be on the charger once or twice more than what you think you might. So another feature that Sony's really well known for is its audio quality, and the XZ Premium doesn't skip on that at all. You have high resolution audio in here, which means then that you can actually play the audio files in their full quality. It also uploads compressed files as well, so MP3s and files that have been ripped into smaller formats are going to be upscaled to give better quality volume and sound quality. What they've also introduced in this handset as well is up to 1 GB per second download speeds, which is absolutely immense and perfect for things like the fact that you can get 4K videos on here through Netflix, Amazon Prime and so on. You can also then obviously download high resolution audio files from things like Tidal if you pay for their premium subscription. That means then you can get the high quality audio files as well. Now what the XZ Premium also comes with is 64 GB of on-built storage, which is awesome, and also gives you space for an external SD card, so you can stick up to 128 GB SD in there. So plenty of space for music, unless you're going to be sticking high-res audio on there, which is pretty massive. However, one thing I've noticed in the handset as well is that 14 GB of that 64 is already taken up by the system. So in my opinion, I think Sony could do with taking a little bit of the bump away from Android. As a lover of OnePlus 5, as a lover of Pixel devices and Nexus previously, I'm very much a clean Android man. I think you've got a great system there made by Google. You don't particularly need to put loads over the top to try and make it look like your own. Sony have done this a little bit and introduced some of their other features like the AR features, which is great, they're good additions to the phone, but at the expense of memory. Not my cup of tea. So a feature that's returned that I'm very happy to see is the PS4 Remote Play. As a PS4 owner, I think it's a fantastic thing to be able to continue your gaming elsewhere with you, unless you're going to get yourself a Nintendo Switch. But if you're a PlayStation gamer through and through, you're going to love the fact that Remote Play is back in this handset, because it means you can take your handset with you, bring a controller from your PS4 and pair it with your device, and that means then you can take your gaming with you anywhere you want to go, provided you've got that internet connection. Now the Snapdragon 835 processor is going to help there as well, because you've got all the power that the device needs. It's the best processor on the market. Loads of smartphones are using it at the minute, and then also you've got 4 GB of DDR3 RAM as well. So I think putting those powerhouse features into this device, it was definitely a must, and it pairs very nicely with a 4K screen. So then, as Sony have continued this tradition as well, they started this, they're going to carry on doing it. We've got some waterproofing and dustproofing there as well. Now also make note of the word proof in there. On all the Sony merchandising that I've seen, they've said IP65 and 68 waterproof, not the word resistant. However, what I am going to say is the same I would say to anybody else, is do not push it to its limits. It has limits, it's a meter for 30 minutes, you don't want to go any further than that. If you do and you push past that pressure, you are going to find you're going to have a wet phone. However, they have used that word waterproof in there, which sort of means then that the technology in this handset has started to move along as well. They're really getting to good grips with waterproofing and able to offer it in loads of their devices, which I think is a nice thing. It doesn't have to be in every single phone. There's loads of phones out there that don't have it. But when it is there, it's just that extra comfort blanket, so you can go out in the rain, get in the shower, jump in the sea, blah blah blah. It just makes for a nice addition. So, onto our last feature, which is the 19 megapixel camera. This 19 megapixel camera is a beast. It takes some fantastic shots. The 19 megapixel camera also has, get this, 19% bigger pixels. That means then that its ability to take pictures at night and in low light situations is much improved, but its piece de resistance is the motion eye camera. The motion eye camera is able to take slow motion video at, hang on, 960 frames per second. Whoa. So the majority of phones have had an absolute maximum of 240 frames per second, the standard being about 120. 960 is almost an unbelievable amount. To be able to record slow motion video in that is basically like stopping time. So I thought I'd put it to the test. So what I wanted to do is actually test the 960 frames per second slow motion on the XZ Premium against other devices just to see what it's going to be like. So if we start off in 120 frames per second, this is what we get. So you can see it's a good, pretty clear, wide view there. It's actually slightly wider than what it normally would be, so I've had to edit the video ever so slightly, but it gets a good distant view, which has good, crisp, clear video. Okay, now, if we were to compare the 960 frames per second, this is what we get. So as you can see, the motion eye camera, what it actually does is zooms in the video and actually creates quite a lot of grain and noise and doesn't particularly give you a very smooth final product. Now, I was a little bit disappointed when I saw the 960 frames per second, and I thought at first maybe there was a little tweak in settings that I needed to mess around with, because it did seem incredibly grainy. It seemed that you had to move back about another 6 feet to get the same sort of picture in view, which is quite strange to me. And then what I did is compared it with the OnePlus 5 slow motion, which again is just at 120 frames per second, which is this. Now on the OnePlus 5, you do then lose a little bit of the actual outline video compared to what you would get when you're recording in 4K, which is fine, it's no problem. I could have moved back if I wanted to, but you can see that the actual video is quite clear. So it has a good clear picture on the OnePlus 5, and the motion is very smooth as well. So there's no jitters or anything like that, it's just a nice smooth slow motion video, which is what you would expect. So that actually leads me to believe that unfortunately, in my opinion, the motion eye camera on the XZ Premium isn't quite all what it's cracked up to be. Yes, in 120 frames per second, it does look nice, crisp and clear, but no particularly clearer than any other phone. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that, but other than that, I think the performance, speed, screen quality of this handset is very good. However, where it loses its marks for me is battery life and the motion eye camera with the slow motion video. Thanks very much guys, I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks for joining the new channel as well, Tweedful Things. If you do like this video, please leave a like underneath, it helps the channel. Share it, comment, whatever you want to do. If there's anything you'd like me to review next, please pop it in the comments below. I appreciate your time, thanks very much. This has been the XZ Premium, enjoy it.